Je vais tantôt, lors du vote, être la présidente de l'Assemblée, mais en attendant, je vais vous donner quelques petites instructions. Surtout, vous nous excusez là, du petit délai. On a beaucoup d'ajustements au niveau de la traduction, etc. Alors, on voulait s'assurer que tout fonctionnait bien, alors ce qui explique notre petit délai. Alors, simplement pour vous dire que cette Assemblée générale virtuelle remplace l'Assemblée en présentiel. Alors, les mêmes règles s'appliquent. Vos caméras doivent être ouvertes en tout temps et on recommande que si vous devez vous absenter quelques minutes, laissez-la ouverte. Et il n'y aura aucune question et intervention qui sera acceptée si la caméra est fermée. Si vous avez besoin de poser une question, vous pouvez utiliser le bouton sur votre écran. Si ce n'est pas possible, faites-moi un signe. On va le voir, bouger la main. Si vous avez un crayon, vous pouvez bouger votre crayon. Alors, ça me permettra de voir que vous avez une question à poser. Les micros sont fermés. Alors, lorsque vous allez prendre la parole, notre personne technique va vous envoyer une demande d'activation de micro et vous devrez accepter la commande pour avoir accès au micro et vous pourrez à ce moment-là terminer votre intervention. Pour ce qui est des votes, vous allez voir apparaître sur votre écran un lien qui va être un lien que vous pouvez soit numériser avec votre téléphone ou encore un lien dans le chat. Quand vous allez appuyer sur le lien, ça va vous amener à une feuille pour voter oui, non ou abstention. On va aussi se laisser du temps entre les questions pour permettre à nos scrutateurs de compter les votes déjà reçus et les votes qui seront pris directement pendant. Alors, sans plus tarder,
So without further ado,
avec le mot de bienvenue,
we will start with the opening comment of your president, Myriam Bouffard.
Bonjour à tout le monde.
So hello everyone.
J'espère que vous allez bien.
I hope that
Alors,
you're all well.
bienvenue en ce
So
jour
welcome
du 22 juin
for this June 22nd meeting of our annual general
Alors, sans
meeting
tarder, nous commençons la
for
réunion.
2025. So without further ado, we are starting the meeting. So thank you for being with us.
Merci Myriam.
Thank you,
Alors,
Myriam.
je demanderai à
So
Sonia
I would
de
ask Sonia to
la
validate
convocation et de
the
nous
notice of
confirmer le
meeting
quorum.
and to confirm that we have quorum. Yes? Am I on?
Allô?
So
Oui,
hello?
bonjour tout le monde.
Yes, hello everyone.
Et je confirme
And
que
I can confirm that
on a 8
we
participants
have
votants.
8 voting participants and 26 proxies. So with 36 participants, we have a quorum.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you
Sonia.
very much, Sonia.
Nous sommes maintenant
Now,
rendus à la résolution
We've
numéro 1.
reached resolution number 1, the nomination of the chairman of the meeting and the secretary, the note taker. So we need someone to move. Mr. Mario moves, seconded by Mr. Henry.
Oui, j'ai une question.
Yes, I have a question.
En fait,
Well, basically,
ma question, je voulais juste revenir.
I just wanted to come back.
Lorsque vous parliez de
When you
vote,
mentioned
donc on doit
the
ouvrir
voting,
la caméra.
we
Donc,
have to turn on
moi,
our
j'ai une
camera.
personne sourde ici qui est
I
avec moi,
have
qui n'a
a
pas d'ordinateur,
deaf
donc,
person
de quelle
here
façon elle va
who doesn't have a
pouvoir,
computer, so how will that person be able
donc,
to speak?
Donc,
And
on est dans une salle avec
because
deux
we are in
interprètes,
a
donc,
room
cette
with our
personne-là,
two
comment elle va
interpreters,
pouvoir voter
so
si elle
how
n'a
will
pas
that person
d'ordinateur,
vote without
séparé, là?
a separate
Notre équipe
computer?
technique nous dit
Well,
que
our
du point de
technical
vue, avec un
team is
téléphone,
telling us
elle
that
va
with a
pouvoir
phone,
scanner le code numérique qui va apparaître à
they will be
l'écran
able to
et voter
scan
avec
the
le
digital
code QR.
code on the screen, to scan the QR code and
Alors, on
vote
pourra
that
vous
way.
envoyer quelqu'un là,
So
pour vous
we'll be
expliquer
able
comment
to
ça
send
fonctionne.
someone over to show you how it
D'accord,
works.
merci, c'est beau.
Thank you. That's fine.
Alors, la deuxième
So the
résolution, c'est la
second
nomination des
motion
scrutateurs
is
de
the
la réunion.
designation of the
On a
scrutineers,
deux
the appointment
personnes
of
qui
scrutineers.
sont avec
We
nous,
have
qui
two people
vont
with
pouvoir
us
nous
who
faciliter
will be
le
able
comptage.
to help
Alors,
us
on
do
a
the
la
vote count.
nomination de Sonia
So we have
Audet
the nomination
et
of
Sylvie
Sonia
Perron en
Audet
qualité
and
de scrutatrice
Sylvie
pour compter
Perron
les
as
procurations et les
scrutineers
bulletins de vote
to count
durant
the
l'Assemblée.
proxies
Alors, ça va
and
être personne pour
ballots
proposer.
cast during the meeting. So I need someone to so move.
Alors, Myriam
So
propose,
Miriam moves,
secondée par
seconded by
Marie qui a secondé.
Marie, who seconded.
Je vais utiliser le nom que je vois sur
I
votre
will
écran. Alors,
use
si j'ai
the
pas votre
name
nom de
I
famille, ça se peut
see
que je
on
vous appelle
screen.
par votre prénom.
So if I don't have your family name, I may just use your first name.
Maintenant, on est rendu à
Now,
l'item numéro 5.
We are
On
at
va la
item
mettre
number
à l'écran.
5.
C'est
We'll
écrit
post it
petit,
on
mais
screen.
n'oubliez pas
The
que vous
writing
avez
is
tous
small,
reçu
but don't forget that you all
votre kit. Alors,
received
vous l'avez
your
vraiment
kits.
en anglais et en
So you have
français
it
en
both in
votre
French
possession.
and English
On
on
a la
hand.
présentation
We
et
have the
l'adoption de l'ordre du
presentation and
jour
adoption of the
de la
agenda
réunion.
of the
Il y
meeting.
a déjà un point qui
There's
sera
already one
éliminé
item that will
puisqu'on
be
n'avait pas
withdrawn since
envoyé
we hadn't
la
sent
question via
the
les
question
proxys. Alors, le point
through
11
proxies.
ne
So
pourra pas
item
être
number
présenté
11
aujourd'hui.
will not be able
Il
to
sera
be presented
présenté
today. It'll be
au prochain
presented
AGA.
at the next AGM.
Maintenant, est-ce qu'il y avait des
Now,
ajouts, corrections,
were there
commentaires?
any additions, comments, or questions? I'll try and see if I see any raised hands.
Alors, je ne vois pas de main levée.
So I don't
Je ne
see
vois pas
anyone
d'ajout.
raising their hand, no requests for additions.
J'ai plusieurs caméras fermées aussi, mais sur
There
les
are a
caméras
lot of
fermées,
people
si les
with
gens ont
their
des
cameras
interventions,
off,
puis je
so
vous
if you
explique
turn
tantôt,
off
vous
your
allez
camera,
ouvrir votre caméra.
if you want to
Alors,
speak, you
sans
need to
plus
turn your
tarder,
camera
je
on. So
voudrais
without
qu'on
further
quelqu'un qui
ado,
propose,
I need someone to
l'adoption
move
de l'ordre du jour
the
avec le changement
approval
proposé à
of the agenda with the change to item number 11.
Monsieur l'Archevêque.
Mr. L'Archevêque has raised his hand to move and seconded by Mr. Dufour.
Nous sommes rendus maintenant au
Now
point
we've
6,
reached item
qui est
6,
l'approbation du procès verbal
which is
de
the
l'Assemblée
approval of the
annuelle
General
tenue le
Assembly
18
minutes
mai.
from May
Si vous
18th,
n'étiez pas présent à
2024. If
l'Assemblée
you were
du
not
18 mai
present
2024,
in
vous ne
May
pouvez
18th,
pas
2024, you cannot
alors
vote.
ça me prend, on
So
ne le lira pas parce que
we
c'est
will
écrit,
not
vous
read
l'avez
it
déjà entre les mains.
because you
Alors, ça me
have
prend
already
une
received
personne
it.
pour proposer
So I
et
need someone to
seconder.
move and to second.
Monsieur l'Archevêque propose.
Mr. L'Archevêque moves.
Qui seconde?
Does anyone second?
On a Myriam. Qui
We have
seconde.
Miriam who seconds.
Est-ce qu'il y avait des commentaires ou des ajustements?
Are there any comments or adjustments?
Je m'excuse, c'est un peu long parce que je
I
vois
do
pas tout ça en même temps.
apologize. It takes me a while because I have to scroll through the screen.
Jonathan va me faire signe.
If someone raises their hand, my technician Jonathan
Alors, item numéro 6 serait.
will tell me. So item number 6 is therefore approved.
On passe maintenant la parole
We are now turning the
à
microphone
Esther
over
Ballot, qui est
to
pour le
Esther
thème numéro 7,
Ballot
qui est la
for item
présentation
number 7,
des états
which
financiers
is the
sous la forme
presentation
d'examen.
of the
Vous avez encore une
financial
fois à
statements.
l'annexe B.
You also have on
On va
Appendix
essayer de
B.
vous présenter à
We'll
l'écran la
try
page 4,
to
5 et 6.
show you
On
pages
réalise
4,
que ça
5,
sera
and 6
probablement
on
assez
screen.
petit.
We do realize it'll be
Vous pouvez
small,
simplement écouter Esther qui
but
va vous donner
if
les
you
grandes
just
lignes et
listen
on
to
pourra
Esther,
prendre une période de
she
questions
will
à la fin des
give
états
you the broad
financiers
strokes
si nécessaire.
and you can
Alors,
ask
Esther,
questions once
on
we're
vous
done with the
ouvre votre
financial statements if need be. So Esther, we will turn your microphone on.
Esther, est-ce que vous pouvez lever votre main
Esther,
juste pour que
can you
le
raise your
technicien
hand
puisse
so
voir
our
que vous,
technician
vous êtes
can
en ligne, s'il vous plaît.
find you if you're online?
OK. Esther, votre micro est allumé. Ah, on vous
now
entend.
your microphone is on. We can hear you. So go ahead.
Pas bien encore.
Est-ce que vous pouvez répéter, s'il vous plaît?
Okay, you can go ahead now.
Malheureusement, on n'entend pas votre micro. On le voit.
Unfortunately, we can see that your microphone is on, but we can't hear you. So I'll try to do it this way. Can you hear me now? Yes, now we can hear you.
Alors écoutez, j'ai désactivé le
I do apologize.
micro. Parfait.
I'd deactivated my
Alors,
microphone.
bonjour tout le monde.
So,
Alors, je
hello
me
everyone.
présente comme
I'd like
on m'a
to
demandé, les états
present the
financiers.
financial
Donc, à la
statements
page
as
4,
requested. So on
première
page 4,
section, comme
the
d'habitude,
first
vous
section,
voyez
as
les
usual, you
diverses
can
formes
see
de
the
revenus.
different income,
La subvention,
the
comme
grant,
d'habitude,
as usual,
les divers dons
the
que nous
different
recevons,
donations that we receive
d'une distribution centrale
from a
et les
central
revenus de
distribution,
placement et
and
les
the
revenus d'intérêt
interest or
générés
investment
par les
income
placements.
generated by our investments.
Est-ce qu'il y a un problème, Myriam?
Is there a problem, Miriam?
Parce qu'il y a un membre qui n'entend pas la langue.
There's a member who can't hear. I'm trying to speak to Peter. Can we tell Paul to click on the globe at the bottom?
Je peux-tu parler dans le micro? Hi,
Can
Paul.
I-
Allô, Paul?
Hello, Paul.
Peux-tu sélectionner
Are
le
you able
globe
to
en bas
select the globe at the
pour
bottom
entendre
to listen to
l'interprétation?
the
Yeah. Hi,
interpretation?
Paul. It's Sonia. Can you go down the bottom of the screen, look for the globe icon, and you'll be able to select English.
Oui. Oui, on va attendre, elle va le faire dans des minutes. On va juste faire ça. On connaît pas. Ouais, excuse, je ne le vois pas. Non, il n'y a pas de caméra. Mais ils sont pas.
Ils ne voulaient pas partager. Ouais, c'est ça, mais ils ne voulaient pas partager leur écran.
Sonia, il faudrait peut-être que tu redonnes les indications à Paul.
Ben, c'est parce que j'y ai écrit comme 3-4. En tout cas,
Prendre, je comprends qu'il y aura peut-être
I
il
do
y a un
understand.
enjeu avec une personne.
There's a
actuellement.
problem with
On tente
one
de
person
régler.
currently. We're trying to fix
Mais,
it.
on va laisser, vous pouvez regarder là, au moins les états
At
financiers.
least
puis
you're
on va
able
essayer
to
de régler le
consult the
problème
financial
avec,
statements, and
Sophie
we'll
Paul Settle
try
en
to
parallèle.
fix the
Sonia
problem
s'occupe déjà de ça.
with Paul Settle in parallel. Sonia's trying
Alors,
to fix
Esther,
it.
on va te laisser
So Esther,
commencer. Merci.
you can continue.
Donc, comme
Okay,
je vous ai dit, à
so
la page
as I
4,
mentioned on page
vous avez
4,
les diverses formes de
you have
revenus,
the different
la
forms of
subvention de la
income, the
compagnie
grant
pharmaceutique,
from the pharmaceutical
des
company,
dons que
donations
l'association
that the
reçoit
association
de
receives
distributeurs à
from
distribution centrale
a
et
central
les revenus
distribution
d'intérêt
and the
générés par
interest
les
income
placements.
generated by your
L'année
investments.
2024, c'était une année
2024
où
was a year
c'était pas encore placé
where
l'argent pour
the
12 mois. Donc,
funds hadn't been
on peut
invested
s'attendre
for
que les
12
années à
months.
venir
So we can
aient
expect
meilleur
that in
rendement.
future years
Après
the
ça, si
returns
vous
will be better.
regardez les divers postes
Next,
de
if you look
stage,
at the
la
different
première
expenses,
ligne,
the
salaire
first
et
line,
avantages sociaux,
salaries and
il y avait
benefits,
un employé
there was an
depuis
employee
mi-mars
since
2024,
mid-March
donc l'année n'était pas
2024,
complète.
so it's
Les
not a full
sous-traitants,
year.
il n'y avait
The
plus.
subcontractors, there weren't any. The annual general meeting,
était un peu
the
moins
expenditures
élevé parce que
were a
c'était
bit
une
lower
présentation,
because it was
pas présentiel, mais
a virtual
en
meeting
2024.
in 2024.
Après ça, il y avait la
After that,
traduction
there was a translation
qui a baissé beaucoup.
that went down considerably.
Conseil d'administration et dans les
The
traductions,
board of
peut-être, parce qu'il y a
directors,
un peu de changement.
well, in translation, maybe there were some changes.
Myriam, y a-t-il un
Miriam,
problème? Est-ce que je peux continuer?
Is there a problem? Can I continue?
Oui.
Okay, good.
Je suis désolée, je vois
I do
que
apologize. I can
j'ai
see
peur que je dois arrêter.
people
Perfect.
move, and
Je
I think
m'excuse.
they're
Donc,
telling me to slow down, but I do apologize. So after translation, you've got translation, board of directors. It's roughly the same amounts. The board of directors, it's always through Zoom. They have meetings through Zoom. So for translation, it's mainly the interpreters. Then you see the long special distribution to members. That is the decision that the board made to distribute $500 to all members of the association, active members. Afterwards, you've got travel expenses. That's mileage. That's as usual. It's mainly the president who has to travel for the benefit of the association. Rent, it's a bit higher, but not by much. That is due mainly by the
Les années antérieures, les taxes non récupérées étaient présentées sur
that
une
was
ligne
the
distincte. Maintenant,
non-recovered taxes that were in a different line item. Now this is included in the rent, so the non-reimbursed taxes on the rent is included in the amount of the rent. Insurance, it's roughly the same amount annually. There's not much change. Telecommunications, a significant decrease because since 2023, the president worked to decrease the telecommunications expenses. Afterwards, office expenses, that has also gone down since
Et il y a très peu de frais de bureau puisque le bureau
there are a few office expenses
est minime.
since it's a minimum expense. The website, it's mainly its maintenance and the domain name rental and the website itself. Printing, reproduction, and postage, very low expenses because usually it's linked with the board meetings. So the costs are now put in the board meeting line item. If it's an expenditure linked, for the AGM, it's in the AGM line item. So mailings to members, it depends if it's for the board or for the AGM. Everything else goes in this line item. Next, you have the professional fees. Professional fees, you have three types of expenditures in professional fees. You have amounts invoiced by the auditors. You have the expenditures linked to the additional work due to the legal files, and you also have my own fees that are my own accounting fees. Then you have external professional services. This is invoiced by a person that works with the board and administrative functions with the board, AGM, and so on. And I'd like to mention that there are also investments. There are brokerage fees for the investments. That's where the $6,862 dollars comes in, that's invested by BMO. It represents a percentage of the investments. Then unrecovered tax, starting this year, this line item will no longer exist because the unrecovered taxes that can't be recovered will be included in the specific line items themselves. So there's no detailed presentation. Afterwards, provisions or interest and bank charges are roughly the same. Penalties and interests, there's always a small amount, and it's always linked to the settlement of problems of a former employee. And in terms of amortization and tangible fixed assets, there's no change. It's usually about the same amount. This being said, the expenses were of 300, income of 369,000, expenses of 194,000, so we have excess of revenues over expenses of 175,000. That's our surplus. So the surplus from previous years, if you look on page 5, we started the year with 809. When you add that to the surplus of 2024, it gives us $1,073,776 of assets that the association has on hand. In terms of page 6, you have the balance sheet. In the balance sheet, we would be able to find the amount that I mentioned, which is the cumulative amount of everything owned by the association. So what the association has as of December 31st, 2024, in terms of the regular bank account, there was 80,552. There was account receivables that were made up of unrecovered taxes that have been received since. So as of today, these are no longer accounts receivable. There were also interest earned to receive. They're counted on the value of the investments that we haven't cashed yet. And there was also an amount, a surplus amount, that was paid to the government. So this is what makes up the amount of $22,290 to receive. There was 1 month of rent paid ahead of time, and it's the same this year. So the short-term assets are of 106,000, and to add to that, the investments at BMO, and BMO Nesbitt Burns, 1,032,000, and the net accounting value of tangible fixed assets, $7,000. That gives us a total of assets of $1,145,000. Now, we also have liabilities, invoices to pay. So these liabilities are made up of, let me find the page. So on page 12, you have the list of liabilities of creditors that's made up of $9,571 or $45,000 as of December 31st. That's still to be paid to members, the $500 per active member. And there are salaries and vacation and amounts to pay to the government on employees, the employee's salary.
And that is what makes up that 550,883 of accounts payable. So short term now, we have this $5,552. 500,883 to carry forward, which is the remaining amount. It is the same because we don't touch this amount. This is amount that is reserved for special activities. As long as the status has not changed, the presentation can never change. So that gives us $71,940,000 in liabilities. Now, if you calculate the net of 145,516, the amount of liabilities brings us to a total exactly of 1,145,716 that the association has. I think that is it for the financial statements. That is the simplest means of presenting them. If you have any questions, it will be my pleasure to answer them.
Est-ce que vous m'entendez?
Can everybody hear me well?
Merci beaucoup, Esther.
Thank you very much, Esther. So we are now ready to move to our next question period. So we need to settle a few technical issues with each one of you. We were doing that. That is why we see people moving about in the room. But it doesn't prevent us from moving forward. For those of you who are with us, I'm looking at my screen. I'm not seeing any raised hands. I don't see any questions. I think this brings us to the next item. Thank you so much, Esther. I think that you are already leaving us, but thank you very much for having agreed to join us despite the time difference. Thank you very much for your patience. Yes, I am on vacation. I'm in Europe. So it was a bit stressful for me, I do have to admit. I was a little afraid, but I hope that I was able to properly present, and I'm sorry for having been nervous. In fact, I've never been as nervous about this as I was today. But I'm very pleased if I was able to present the financial statements. Thank you very much, Esther. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful vacation. Thank you. This brings us to item 8, the President's Annual Report. You should have the documents in hand. It was under Appendix C. So Miriam, I'd like to ask you to go forward with your report. Thank you to everybody. That I hope that you're all well, you and your relatives. Our annual general meeting is taking place today, Sunday, June 22nd, 2025 via Zoom. If you're unable to attend our 2025 AGM, do not forget to fill out the proxy form and the postal voting form as well. I recently sent you a memo on this. It's important every year to always fill out the proxy forms and voting forms so that we as the board can move forward. And of course, so that we can also achieve quorum. As chairman of the board and a volunteer member of TVAC, there are times when we must make big decisions that, believe me, are not always easy. The minutes of the 2024 AGM in Zoom mode recall that our former general manager, Gloria Osorio, was dismissed in May 2023 following the discovery of anomalies, missing documents, and questionable expenses. Under item 7, you'll find a detailed chronology of events. These events were used as a pretext for misinformation and disrespectful, unacceptable conduct by certain members before, during, and following the 2024 AGM, to such an extent that your board of directors had to apply the anti-bullying policy and proceed to expel 5 members from our association. An action was brought in Quebec Superior Court against an accounting firm to recover damages suffered by the association as a result of professional negligence in the execution of mandates, over the course of a few years. Now, let's look to the future, and life goes on. We're continuing to make various financial investments. We're pleased to confirm that our association is in excellent financial health. In January of this year, we sent each of you an amount of $500, which represent, that was the accommodation program. It's a similar amount. We're staying within that same model. And finally, we have finished purging the documentation that has accumulated over the years. Documentaries and programs recorded on VHS DVD have been transferred to a USB port. We still need to subtitle them, enable our deaf community to read them. Soon we'll be digitizing members' photos and sharing members on the history of thalidomide. As soon as we finished everything, we'll let you know how we're going to share this content with you, as we still have a lot of work to do. In May, we made a small office move within the same building in order to reduce rental costs. Sonia and I have been working on the following items: the conference project for 2026 and tour schools in and around the Montreal area to never forget the thalidomide tragedy, and also to talk about bullying, as many of us at one time or another have been affected by it. Improving our thalidomide.ca website, preparing our next 2026 in-person AGA. We're currently, and we'll see this in the future, but we'd like to go to Ontario. We're also currently preparing our next grant application to Bristol Myers Squibb. As well, we're working on spending a weekend in Ontario with the Ontario members. Currently, we're working on this, and as soon as there's news, we'll be able to share that with you. And a huge thank you to the Board of Directors team, Mario Dufour, Denis Henry, Peter Settle, and Julie Larchevêque. Thank you for your availability, your dedication, your constructive ideas, and your participation. Be proud of your Board of Directors, because we work very hard for you. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Julie, who recently resigned for family and personal reasons. We'd also like you thank you for your involvement. It's been a pleasure working with you, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. I'd like to take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt thanks to Lucy Tremblay, our consultant, Esther Ballock, our accountant, Mr. Gagnon, our lawyer consultant, Micheline, our text translator, our interpreters, our translators, for all their support and advice, and of course, Sonia, our administrative coordinator, who all do a remarkable job. Thank you to all of the members of our extended TVAC family. Have a great day and still healthy. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much, Miriam. This brings us to item 9, which is the annual administrative coordinator's report. Sonia Audet, I'd like to invite you to deliver your report. Hello, everybody. I'll be saying this in French, and I don't want to repeat what Miriam already said. It's been just a bit more than a year that I've been with you. Can everybody hear me? First and foremost, can you hear me better like this? Very well. I won't read the entire report, but I'll say the highlights. It's been about a year that I've been with the association, and I've really enjoyed working with TVAC. I've enjoyed getting to know you. Currently, we're building an online community. And what have we done this year? This year, we launched a private Facebook group. In fact, I've started a LinkedIn, which I haven't fleshed out yet. But we'd like to have a more ongoing contact with our members. As well, we had spoken about reducing office costs. We moved next door. So we have been able to save money on rent. We've also been able to digitize our archives and our documents. Everything is now simpler for us. So at this time, we're working on a number of changes that we could put in place to look more towards the future. That is, we're conducting research and we're building on what similar organizations have already done to see how we can update our website, how we can develop more useful tools for our members. As well, I took the time to get in touch with you and to call you because we want to build as much interest as possible vis-a-vis our pilot projects in doing our regional visits. And we'll begin with Ontario. So currently, we're working on that. So we'd like to really interest our members in that. So we take the time to call you and to get your feedback on a number of items. So as you know, I'm always available to answer your emails if you'd like to call me. I am the link and I'm the voice of TVAC. So if there are any comments you'd like to make, any feedback, please don't hesitate to call me. And that's about it. And I think I've covered most of the points. And so I really would like to get to know all of you, and I'm looking forward to working with you again this year. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sonia. Does anybody have any questions regarding the President's report or our Administrative Coordinator's report? I'm not seeing any raised hands. We're ready to move to the next item. And it's my pleasure that you'll be able to test out the device, the voting procedure for the next resolution. It's the appointment of an external auditor. The resolution says this: to appoint the firm Josiane Rosso CPA as external auditor for the 2025 financial year. So if you have a mobile device or a cell phone or a tablet, so you can scan the QR code that will bring you to the vote. If not, look at the chat. Right now in the chat, you're going to see a link. All you have to do is click on that link. There will be a pop-up window, and you'll be able to vote either in favor, abstain, or against. So we'll take you a few minutes to allow you to do this. And after which, we'll also give you a few moments. We'll leave our two scrutineers the time to count the votes that have been entered. If you have any problems, please let us know, and our technical team will then reach out to help you solve the problem.
Alors, on a les résultats. Nous avons 37
We have the
personnes
results. We
en
have
faveur.
37 people
On a
in
deux
favor,
personnes qui s'étaient
one
abstenues
person
et
has
deux
abstained,
personnes contre.
and one
Alors,
has
la
voted
résolution est
against.
adoptée
The
à
resolution
l'unanimité.
unanimously passes.
Avec un contre. Est adoptée, je m'excuse,
With
je
one
répète.
vote against, I'll repeat,
L'adoption
sorry.
est adoptée à la
So
majorité.
it carries by majority vote.
Le prochain item, nous sommes
The next
rendus à
item
l'item numéro
is
11.
number
Au
11.
départ, on
So,
avait
as we said at the
enlevé cet
beginning,
item-là.
we had
Sera
removed this item,
reporté et
which
reconduit
will
l'an
be
prochain.
rediscussed and will be addressed next year.
L'item numéro 12.
Item 12.
L'élection des administrateurs.
This is
Alors, cette
the
année,
election of the administrators, of the directors rather. We have Mr. Denis Henry, who is running against for the position
au Québec.
in Quebec,
Poste, ce qu'on appelle un mandat
is
général.
what we call a general
En
mandate
remplacement
position.
au poste de famille,
Replacing
Madame
the family
Pierrette
position, we
Cardinal
have Mrs. Pierrette Cardinal,
sa candidature.
who
Vous
sent
avez reçu
her
aussi dans le fameux kit.
application, which you would find in your kit. These are two separate votes. You're excellent. You've already done a first turn. The first vote is for
L'adoption de Monsieur Denis
the
Henry
adoption
pour un
of
mandat de
Mr.
3 ans
Henry
sur
for a
résolution.
3-year mandate. That's this
Alors, on
resolution.
vous envoie directement
So
un
we're
lien dans le
sending
chat
you
ou encore
directly
le code
the
QR.
link directly into your chat or in QR form as we've just done. So we'll leave a few moments for the vote and then we'll give our scrutineers a moment as well.
Alors, simplement un petit aspect technique, parce que vous
Just a
allez
technical
avoir un
point,
deuxième vote.
because there's going to be a second vote following right after. You don't have to leave the page and to come back. Just leave your page open and the page will refresh automatically. That will be considered as being a new vote. So when we proceed with the vote for the next candidate, all you have to do is answer once you've been given the green light for the resolution. We're still voting on Mr. Denis Henry. The vote has been closed. Our scrutineers right now are counting the votes. But please leave your page open for the next vote.
Résultat pour l'élection de M.
We
Denis
have the
Henry.
results from
On a
Mr.
37
Denis'
personnes en faveur.
election.
On a
37
3
people in
personnes
favor,
qui se
2
sont abstenues de
have
voter.
abstained
On a
from
0
voting,
contre.
and 0
Henry
against. So Mr. Henry has been voted in unanimously.
On passe maintenant
This brings
à la
us
deuxième élection.
to the second election
Pierrette
for
Cardinal,
Mrs. Pierrette Cardinal.
un poste de famille,
It is a family
de poste de
position
famille, et
or
c'est un
close family member,
mandat aussi de
and
3
it is
ans.
also a 3-year
Encore une
mandate.
fois, on vous
So
demande
once again,
de voter en
we
faveur,
ask that
de
you
vous
please vote in
abstenir,
favor,
de
to
voter
abstain,
contre.
or to vote
Quelques
against.
minutes
We'll give you a
pour
few moments
aller de l'avant.
to complete the vote.
Ouvrez le micro. Alors, on a maintenant les résultats du
We
vote.
now have the results of the vote. For Mrs. Pierrette Cardinal, we have 34 votes in favor. We have 2 abstentions and 3 persons who voted against. She has been voted in by majority. Congratulations to Mrs. Pierrette Cardinal. Now, you're going to notice that we still have vacant positions. We have 1 vacant position to represent in Ontario. We also have vacant positions to represent the eastern or western regions of Canada. So among today's participants who are in these regions, would anybody be interested in running? And never mind what's on screen, but are any of you interested in running for any of these positions? It's a 2-year mandate, so that's a 2-year mandate for each of these positions. If anybody is interested in running, please let us know. Please identify yourselves. And if not, please don't forget that it is important to have people from across the country who sit on the board of directors. So please speak about this with your friends even before the next AGM. Throughout the mandate, you can send in your application for being a board member to the board of directors. So I think that it is a responsibility. You're a small group. We understand that this entails some commitments, but it is becoming important. So once again, I'm looking at the screen for a minute to see if anybody is interested in taking part. If not, we'll move on to the next item.
Alors, on avait avant la clôture de la
So before we adjourn the meeting, Myriam, I don't know, but I think that there was a request that you had made to see if anybody would like to continue the discussion following the AGM. I don't know if that is still something that you would like to address. that you'd like to have a discussion with the members.
Plus social
It's
ou,
more social in
formation.
nature, or it's
Alors,
more an
ce qu'on
information
va
point.
compléter l'AGA. Tous les
So
gens
we're
qui ont
going
besoin
to
de
conclude the
quitter,
AGM. Those
on va
of you who
donner
need to
un
leave, feel
petit
free to
10
do so, but we're going
minutes,
then to take
un
10 minutes
s'il y a des gens qui veulent apporter
to
des
see if
sujets
anybody
ou
would
qui ont
like
des
to raise any
informations
topics, or if
qu'ils voudraient
there's
partager, mais ça va
information that
être
they would like
hors
to share,
AGA.
but it will be outside of
Sinon,
the
ben, on
AGM.
clôture le
If
tout
not,
comme
we're
prévu.
going to
Alors, j'aimerais
close
avoir
the meeting
quelqu'un qui
as
propose la clôture de la
planned.
réunion.
I need a mover to adjourn the meeting.
Monsieur Mario.
Mr.
Et
Mario.
seconde, on a
And a
Monsieur
seconder,
Paul qui
we have Mr.
seconde.
Paul who's seconding.
Donc, il y avait des questions. Non?
I think there were questions. No, there don't seem to have been any questions.
Alors, ben, merci beaucoup tout le
Thank you
monde.
very much to everybody.
C'est très positif d'avoir une
It's very
réunion qui va
positive to
organiser
have a
de cette
meeting
façon-là.
that runs
Mais
as
c'est quand
smoothly
même
as this
important
one
de le
did.
faire. Alors,
Nevertheless, it is important for us to hold these meetings, so I wish you all the best in this early summer season. So we hope that you all stay healthy. And for those of you who would like to continue, perhaps Myriam, you'd like to take the floor?
On va juste prendre une petite pause
We're
de
going
2
to take a
minutes
2-minute break
ouvrir les micros pour les
because we open up the floor for the exchange.
Alors, on a quelques personnes qui sont restées.
We have a
Je
few
vais
people who
vous allez
stayed.
pouvoir juste lever la
You'll
main.
be able
Puis
to
on
raise your
va
hand
ouvrir le micro.
and we'll
C'est
turn your
informel.
microphone on. It's
C'est
very
vraiment plus pour voir s'il y a
informal.
des questions,
It's just to
commentaires.
see
Là,
if you have any
Myriam
questions or
voulait
comments.
s'adresser un peu plus de
Myriam
façon informelle
wanted to
à
have
vous
an
maintenant
informal
que
chat
tout
with you
l'aspect plus
now that
légal et complété.
the official portion's over.
Qui avait la main levée, Monsieur l'archevêque ou c'était
Who
juste-
raised his hand, Mr. L'archevêque?
Parfait.
Perfect.
Est-ce que Monsieur Paul, j'ai vu votre main bouger. Est-ce que vous avez
Mr.
une intervention,
Paul,
Monsieur
your
Settles?
hand
Non?
moved. Mr. Settles, did you have something to say?
Monsieur Paul, je voyais Paul la main levée. Non, OK.
No, okay.
Monsieur Denis,
So, Mr. Denis,
Monsieur Henry?
Mr. Henry?
Non, c'est bon, j'ai pas levé ma main.
No, I didn't raise my hand.
D'accord, merci.
Okay, thank you.
Je fais le tour de l'écran.
I'm going around the screen.
Monsieur l'archevêque, est-ce que ça va de votre côté?
Mr. L'archevêque, are you okay? All good?
Alors, Julie, est-ce que tu veux nous traduire?
So, Julie, can you interpret for us? Was there anything special for your father?
Bon,
No.
il n'y a pas d'intervention. Monsieur Peter, est-ce qu'il y avait
Mr.
une
Peter,
intervention?
did you have anything to say on your side?
J'ai fait le tour des membres là, pour m'assurer là, que je m'en
I'm going around the members to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone.
Alors, sans plus
Okay,
tarder,
well,
il y aura
without
d'autres
further
façons de
ado,
communiquer avec vous.
We'll have different
qui se passera au
strategies
cours des
to
prochaines semaines.
communicate with you in the
Je vous souhaite
coming
un
weeks.
excellent dimanche,
So I
bonne
hope
fin de
you'll have a
journée,
great
et on
Sunday, have a
éteint
great
nos
day,
Zooms immédiatement.
and
Merci
we are
beaucoup, tout
now
le monde.
going
Au
to
revoir.
close the Zoom immediately. Thank you, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Peter.
Bye, Peter.
Nice to see you.
Bye, Paul.
Au revoir tout le monde.
Bye, everyone.
Merci beaucoup. Merci à